Good morning, everybody. This is Mike Varanakis with Security National Life Insurance Company. I have the pleasure of interviewing Lee and Jim today. Would you guys like to take a minute and just kind of introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Good morning. Hi, I'm Lee Wiensch. I'm the Executive Director of the Funeral Service Foundation. We are the philanthropic arm of the National Funeral Directors Association, based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I'm Jim Price, and I'm Senior Vice President of Industry Relations for Parkland Corporation. And also I'm President of ICCFA Educational Foundation.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again for being here this morning, taking some time out of your day. I really appreciate it. We'll just kind of jump right in and kind of maybe if either of you want to take the lead and just kind of just give us a brief overview, just the collaborative efforts that have brought this project to life and just kind of bringing it to fruition. Whoever wants to start, that would be great.
Well, I'll share that it's been, I guess now a little over 2 years ago that both 501c3s, we got together in Chicago at NFDA and have conversations about working together, raising money to make more awareness of the veterans, that they're a great fit for our profession. We ended up with, I think, Lee, it was me and you, and maybe 4 others from each foundation. And we began a little slow in the beginning because all of a sudden we got sidetracked a little bit because of the pandemic in March last year. But then we went on weekly and had calls together and continued to work on the strategy just to put together what we now call Journey to Serve.
We really understood that veterans who were already working in funeral service had come in so well prepared. And the people that we talked to said, who employed veterans said, I have 2 veterans working in my funeral home. I would take 10 more if I could find them. But they come in with a sense of mission focus, great teamwork skills, and the ability and a commitment to serve. And so really we were looking at a way to develop a national campaign and a sort of a national toolkit that would help funeral professionals working in all aspects of the profession be able to identify and recruit veterans to open careers. We know that there's a 5% unemployment rate for military veterans specifically, and that our profession is facing a real crisis of finding qualified personnel. And we felt like this was a great way that we could work together and help the profession recruit more well-qualified folks.
That's great. And as you mentioned, I mean, they're more than likely looking for a job, when they're exiting service, or if they're, just in a part of their career where they're trying to find work. And this is a great opportunity for them. That's great.
Yeah, Mike,
yes,
what we learned, 220,000 veterans are discharged annually. We've now heard from different sources that no less than 70% do not know what they're going to do in regards to work when they get out.
Wow. You guys touched on this a little bit, talking, introducing the Journey to Serve program. I'm sure you have many goals that you could talk about, reaching a certain number of veterans, or maybe it's an event, or maybe kind of talk us through a little bit about some goals that you have for the program as it's launching.
Well, I think you're right, we do have a variety of goals. Our first approach was to make sure that we were equipping funeral professionals with what they needed to help veterans understand what a great fit funeral service would be. Sure. Right. So we've developed a variety of tools that are sort of facing the profession to help them recruit. The other goals, though, of course, are around finding veterans themselves. And one of the things that's been Jim and I are so excited about this, just in the last few weeks, we've been working on it for about 6 months. But during the NFDA convention, in fact, in Nashville, we learned that the Department of Defense had approved Journey to Serve as an official web resource for Military OneSource. And that's a huge win for us. And that allows Journey to Serve to reach veterans at exactly that point of transition. Military OneSource is the primary tool that transitioning soldiers use as they are leaving service. That's a huge win. So our next set of goals is around direct outreach to the military. But we think we've been pretty effective at providing the tools that funeral professionals will need to use in their recruiting process.
Yeah, that's awesome. What a great program. You touched on this a little bit, just briefly. Maybe talk to me a little bit about what kinds of events or outreach that's going on right now. It sounds like you guys are prepping to do a lot of that with the Department of Defense. And
So we will be attending veterans fairs and work fairs. I'm using the wrong term, but I guess it's job fairs, really, right? Is what is the
Right.
phrase I'm looking for. And we will be doing some direct outreach through veterans programs around the country. But a lot of those are going to happen at the local level with a local employer looking for folks in their area going to using the Journey to Serve tools and going to those events. We also have a fair amount of web resources. Again, that Military One Source allows us to link to a lot of web resources, which is really where most folks are when they start their job search. It's all job based, or it's all locally based. We also have some great tools on the Journey to Serve website, which is at journeytoserve.com. But veterans, there's a whole veterans tab there that lists job boards, sort of has direct links to national job boards and to state job boards within the funeral profession. So it allows folks to look directly through that Journey to Serve website at open positions in wherever they currently live or wherever they're hoping to land.
that's awesome. What kind of qualifications do they need? They've come out of the service. Maybe kind of talk me through a little bit about that. I mean, we know that they're mission focused and they're very, very dedicated, hard workers. Are there specific qualifications that maybe the funeral professionals look for when they're looking to hire somebody?
I think we addressed that, in a comparison chart. I think it depends upon the area that they really want to focus on.
Gotcha.
But we tried to make it as inclusive as we could for not just funeral homes, cemeteries, crematory owners, but also advanced planning counselors, and as well as other funeral service suppliers. Our goal was to provide all the, I guess you'd say, the assets of a program that's available to everyone in our profession. So you don't need to be a member of ICCFA or NFDA. We hope you join both organizations, but what we think is that we know there's a need, but we also know that so much of this has to be done at the location level. You have to understand the program. Something that we just did, and just prior to NFDA, just days before we got that completed, is a 5-minute video. And I think it was you, Lee, had said when we were looking at the minute and 24-second video that's available to everyone, it's powerful in itself, and everybody seems to be so moved when they see it. But what we know is what we need to do is that we need to help them understand what to do, what's available to them, and to actually understand more of that. And so we accomplished it in 5 minutes. We hope there won't be a state association meeting or any local trade association meeting or national that we can't get 5 minutes to be able to present that, because getting it deep and understood and into the organization and 57 accredited mortuary schools, it just doesn't happen overnight. But we know from the profession standpoint who needs it, and then we'll continue to be exploring ways that, okay, how do we get veterans unrelated to funeral service seeing this? And we're off to a pretty good start now with the approval that we just received from Department of Defense.
That's great. That's awesome. And Lee actually shared I think both videos. I watched both videos, and then there's an amazing toolkit that I took a look at. I mean, because I think it's really striking. I mean, from a marketing person, I think you guys did a great job. What an honor to work on something like that too. I mean, just like really anybody that's working on the program. I mean, that's just what a way to honor the veteran, or I mean, that's incredible. Really well done, you guys. That's awesome.
I really have been struck by that, Mike, as you mentioned what an honor it is. And I'm relatively new to the funeral profession, and I've been struck by the reverence that funeral professionals have for veterans overall, right? In all aspects of what we do, in caring for their families and caring for veterans as we work with them throughout, throughout the process of death care. So this does seem like such a natural fit. I have not encountered a profession before that has such a deep reverence and respect for veterans, and in a really personal way. And so anyway, you're right. It has been an honor. It's been really interesting to work on.
Yeah, I mean, like I just watching the videos with you guys last week, I kind of like got a little emotional like watching it.
Oh, I get emotional every time, and I've maybe seen it 500 times.
Yeah.
Get a little teary.
I mean, it's touching, and what their services. I mean, it's what a great honor, really. That's awesome.
Yeah, and well, the interesting part of it is there are a lot of different companies, large corporations, and outside of our business that have some sort of recruit veteran programs. As we researched it a little bit, we saw a lot of that. But what we realized is that no one in funeral service was doing this. So it wasn't done by either one of our 501c3s. And so that just ended up being naturally a wonderful thing to do together. And board of trustees on both organizations were very, very excited about supporting it and continue to be.
That's great. That's really great. You both touched on this a little bit. Why are they good candidates, for the profession? As a recruit to hire in the profession, why do you guys feel that they are?
On the funeral home side particularly, and I guess it would be the same on cemetery and cremation, is that you just never know how busy you're going to be. You know that you often have challenging situations that pop up, and you always have to be a team player. And I think that that's some of the qualities that a veteran learns and understands. They don't necessarily go in to the service maybe with those skills, but they are required to learn them pretty quickly. Starting early, stay as late as it takes, just all those kind of qualities I find all the time that veterans, they all are equipped with.
Yeah. I think that's exactly right, Jim. And one of the things that we hear from veterans already working in the profession is that they may have not landed in funeral service right away after their military service. It might be their second or third career after the service. What they like so much about it, and where they find a fit, is that it is a purposeful job. It is a job that means something. It is a job that matters. And I think that finding that sort of mission-driven work, or finding meaningful work, can be what makes it a good fit for so many veterans, and what makes them so well prepared, right? To just have a job is one thing. To have a job that is meaningful, and that where you feel like you're giving back, you're feeling like, are you really continuing that journey to serve? And I think that can be a great incentive to get up every day and go back and work hard and do what you have to do.
Maybe kind of talk us through like what resources are out there. You mentioned there's a job board they can go and visit. Kind of talk us through those different aspects of the program.
So on the veterans page, and I hope you'll go to journeytoserve.com, across the top there, you'll see a tab for professionals, and that's where all the assets live for funeral professionals. But then under the veterans tab, there are a variety of tools that one might use. And sort of the quickest and easiest is a quiz that you can take about, is a funeral service the right fit for you? Mm-hmm. Then there are links to those job boards that we mentioned, so actual open careers. But there are also great articles and blog posts about using the GI Bill, for example, for the additional training you might need. There are some testimonials from veterans already working in the service. We feel like that can be a really compelling argument, if you will, sort of hearing from somebody who has done what you're already doing as a veteran. They've already served and now they're in funeral service. Those testimonials are really powerful, and they're from people, again, in all aspects of the profession. And the other thing that's there is links to the scholarships that we offer. So the two foundations have contributed a fair amount of money to academic scholarships. So if there's something that's not covered by the GI Bill, these scholarships step in. So there are two $5,000 scholarships a year and two $2,500 scholarships a year available to veterans through that Journey to Serve. So if you're going to be a funeral director and you need some additional, so a mortuary science certification or degree, or if you need a certification in crematory operation or in some of the other aspects or some other career opportunities that you might need a little bit more training before you can start, right? The scholarships are intended to cover those costs. So quizzes, blog posts, links to Veterans Affairs information, the testimonials, job boards, and then scholarship information.
It's some of the marketing materials that are in the toolkit, from advertising, there's print advertising as well as social media information that you can share. And then I think, the slide deck that really can help in maybe better communicating to veterans groups. So all of that information is there at no cost. Might also add that not only is it used, it can be used by anyone in the profession. So the smallest funeral home in a market can use it, and the largest. We think it's just a great message about funeral service, no matter who's using it.
That's awesome. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you both again for joining me this morning. I would love to give you guys an opportunity just to kind of close out and kind of share some last minute things that maybe I missed that you would like to highlight.
Sure. I guess what I'd like to say is that we are really, we're proud of the project, and mostly we're proud of the collaboration between these two big organizations. So NFDA's charitable arm of the Funeral Service Foundation and ICCFA's Educational Foundation. We've been looking for a long time for a way to collaborate. This has been such a great and strong collaboration. Jim mentioned that both boards are behind it. We are funding it in a way that is meaningful. We are both organizations are putting meaningful resources towards this to really make it a great tool for the profession. It's sort of a gift. It's a love letter to the profession, and a way for us to help find really well qualified folks to join this way of life and this profession that we love and respect so much. We hope to bring more folks to the family, and this is our way to do it.
That's awesome.
And I'd just add to that is that we have really gained so much support from the media in our profession, and we're very proud that in the May issue of American Funeral Director, NOMA's publication, the Director magazine, and Memento Mori, ICCFA's magazine, not only were we featured, we were the feature story and the cover story on all four of those publications. So that's been very rewarding. So not only did we think we were really on something that was big, so is everyone else, and they covered it and supported us in big ways. And we appreciate what you're doing to do this podcast with and involve us in it. We appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. We participated obviously with ICCFA and NFDA. My colleague came across the program on the NFDA site, and we just kind of chatted about it. I said, "Oh, I got to talk to him fast." Thank you again to both of you for all the work that you're doing on it, and really appreciate you guys taking the time out to be with me today.
Thank you, Mike. Great to be with you.